Since San Bernardino is well known for having a high crime rate, what do you think you can do to ensure the safety of your constituents?
Well, keep in mind that citizens have a major responsibility in crime prevention, that very seldom do police identify crime taking place. Most, 90% of the time, I think I've seen a number, is from response from citizen calls. Often citizens don't want to be involved. We can talk about that a long time on in terms of, let somebody else do it. But the reality is that we need to really have a more engaged community. To lower crime rates, you need to be engaged, well, at least with your neighborhood. And I've been promoting neighborhood associations, neighborhood watches. I go to all my neighborhood watch and neighborhood association meetings, and the point is you have to know your neighbors. Who belongs, who doesn't belong. And if you see someone who doesn't belong, you need to call the police. Maybe they're not doing anything wrong, maybe they're just a stranger walking through your neighborhood. If you see somebody who doesn't belong, call. It's worthwhile. And there's other sorts of things that citizens can do. You harden the target. I have a slide presentation that I presented to neighborhood groups. It's environmental design, ETAP. I'm trying to think there's an acronym to it. Environmental crime prevention through environmental design, and it goes back to Oscar. I can't think what his last name was. Anyway, see the Show Me a Hero series that was on. Okay, he was actually a character there, but basically there's a whole range of environmental design around houses, the do's and don'ts. Cut your hedges down, lights, no high fences that you can't see through. You want to have visibility. Harden the target. Keep your windows open on the street, and so forth. And often older people, if they're unsafe, they're pull the blinds down, lock the doors. You can't do that. You've got to be involved. And so, to lower our crime rates, it's really a lot of citizen involvement. Often you hear about, what are the police doing? What are you doing? Yeah? There's that. Lock your cars. So many cars get stolen. Well, why was it stolen? I mean, what kind of a safety system did you have? Did you have the club on it? What have you done? It really sort of gripes me sometimes. But getting back to what we can do with the police. Well, recently, actually, our homicide rates are down this year. I think we've had 20, maybe 21. Last year at this time, we had more than 30. So our homicide rates are down. Burglaries are up, though. Burglaries are up, I think, 35%. But mainly, those burglaries are because of AB 109, the return. People there's overcrowding in the prisons, and so AB 109 eliminated some of the non-violent offenders, and so they're coming back. And I understand from police that a lot of the people that they're arresting are either 109 people or Prop 47 people. Prop 47 is lowering the crime rate for possession and so forth. So we do have this. I'm not quite sure if it's a short-term problem or otherwise, but the reality is we have a lot of people who have been in prison. The arguments were good. For many people, prison, it proves to be a learning ground to become criminals. And so we need to keep people out of prison for nonviolent crime. But the point is, right now, at least for the short term, we've got a lot of people coming out of prison, and there's no buffer. They come back, there's no job, there's no houses, and they've got that question on all have you been convicted of a felony and so forth. And so forth. They've got all these things operating, and maybe they've alienated themselves from their family. Their family's tired. They want to do anything else. Well, we need to have really a serious look at tracking people into reentry programs. Cal State, Carolyn Eggleston began probably 25 years ago. Her and her husband with prison education. Well, she's developed a reentry, I think 15 years ago, a reentry facility down on lower end of East Street. So with the recidivism rate in California is about 70%, in other words, 2 out of 3 people who are released from prison return to prison. Carolyn Eggleston, who has been at Cal State since the early 1990s, started a reentry program, and it's located down on the lower end of East Street. And now it's expanded. It has an outlet in Moreno Valley and also in the Victorville area. Her recidivism rate is 16%, so it's proven. And so how does this affect the crime rate? Well, the point is that you don't have repeat offenders, at least not to the same degree. The difference between 70%, almost 70%, and 16%. And so there's a lot of things that we can do aside from blaming the police department for not doing enough or not having enough funds. Also, the opportunities for hiring more police officers right now because of the limited financing that we have. I really encourage the use of safety cameras, security cameras, and so now with our balanced budgets with the bankruptcy, one of the things that we were able to do is that for the police department, right now we have 40+ security cameras, mostly along Highland Avenue, Waterman, and 40th Street, and we're buying more as finances permit, and that provides an opportunity to be able to to observe an area. It also provides some interesting, somebody has to watch those cameras, and so they're looking for volunteers to simply sit in front of these screens in which you're looking at cameras across the Waterman, Highland, and 40th Street for things that are out of line. So there's that. Plus also, when I came into office, some of the police vehicles were more than 8 years old, and police vehicles get driven tens of thousands of miles a year, and so vehicles that are 8 years old are way beyond the date that they should be. And so I really encouraged part of our budget to be spent on police vehicles, and now it's at least 24, and it might even be 30 vehicles that we get. You've probably seen them. They're Ford Tauruses and Explorers, and they're the newer ones. You can't miss them. So we have that. So also with regard to citizens, and maybe I'm laying an awful lot on the citizens, the citizen police academies. San Bernardino, several times a year, has Citizens Police Academy. They meet for 10 consecutive Wednesday nights, for example, and each night they present other aspects of what the police department does, so people have a better understanding of the Drug Enforcement Task Force, of what dispatch, and it's pretty impressive, some of these things. Again, the technology in the dispatch, in which you have, when you call up and there's somebody on the end of the phone, you don't realize that they're sitting in front of 4 huge computer screens, and in all these computer screens there's all sorts of where the patrol vehicles are, if they're on call, different colors, if they're traveling, if they're stayed at one point, among other things. And so from my point of view, I mentioned more awareness among citizenry, but also because limited opportunities for hiring more police officers is using technology, which is available. And the increase in terms of crime rates, they found that a lot of, again, these returnees from the 109, AB 109 returnees, an awful lot of the people that they arrest invariably are those. And so it may be a short-term issue. So I think we're on the right route, and the point is, I think Chief Bergwan is really alert, and he's instituted a number of workshops among the patrolmen that often and it just makes sense. You often see these alienated police officers that everyone out there is a criminal and so forth. Well, the point is, police officers mostly deal with that 5% of the community, and after a while, dealing with, you really get a jaded view of what the citizenry is like. He's established workshops where officers get maybe a refreshed notion. Why did they get into police the policing? They wanted to help people, and so to get them back to the ideas that they started with, and to understand that they are dealing with that 5%, and that there's that 95% that is concerned and frequently willing to help. And again, that's what I'm thinking about too, that 95% that need to be more engaged. And also too, the fact is that when you have new police officers come in, they don't know the history. We in San Bernardino, we've had a lot of police officer shootings, and so when these young recruits come in, they don't realize that there really is divisions, frictions between the minority community and the police department. That they're just new police officers. They're ready to do the best they can, and yet they're being shouted at and maybe shot at and so forth. This looking particularly at new police officers gets them to understand what the history's been like in San Bernardino, and what special factors they need to be aware of. So policing is not solely the prerogative of the police department. That really the citizens have a role to that often they don't seem to be aware of, and that's what I've always promoted, the fact that be responsible.